Yo, what's up guys, this goes in today's video. Got you back with another Grand Cross video. Now this is going to be basically talking about these two units that should be coming out to global in sometime in the near future in April, I'm assuming, with the month of April. We're going to be talking about two units, which is going to be, of course, Demon MELIODAS and as well as ESCANOR. I just want to talk about these two units because it's basically like what should you summon for essentially on ESCANOR or MELIODAS. You know, ESCANOR, he will have his own banner normally. Demon MELIODAS will probably have his banner and then will be put into the coin shop. So this is where it's going to matter depending on what you're doing. So we're just going to go ahead and showcase this team right here. Now we're going to be running it on one of the boss battles. We have Gother on the team as well, so he can at least you know, rank up the units. Now I'm just going to let this play by itself and just hope for the best with this. So we're just going to put it in, you know, actually I need to change one thing just to make sure. Now this is of course fully level 80 style and stuff like that, but we're just going to go ahead and switch it up a little bit. Of course, putting on a little bit better gear, but we're just gonna go ahead and run this. So this team or these units, they're really good. Now depending on what you're going for, now if you're more based off of, you know, doing a lot of attacking and you're based off of just trying to do a lot more damage compared to focusing on one thing, Demon MELIODAS is going to be more for the Crimson Raid compared to ESCANOR. You can use him on really much anything in the game, but for the Demon MELIODAS, he's just there for, you know, finishing the Crimson Raid, being able to get those materials so you can level up your units, and you won't really use them more than that really. So it can depend on if you plan on leveling up your characters. If not, then, you know, you'll have to go for ESCANOR. Now I want you guys to know that Demon MELIODAS is actually super strong as well. He can do some really high damage just from his own, you know, cards. The reason why is because his ignite. So you can see like where he just did his 1-star ignite and now he's doing his second skill attack. Those pretty much go hand in hand and they're going to do a lot of damage because of that. So the reason why is because, you know, his ignites basically are going to give him additional 10% damage and they can stack. So if the enemy has, of course, these ignites on them, the more damage, the more ignites, the more damage he's going to do. So if you put like 3 ignites, right, or for 3 turns, or 2 ignites for 4 turns, or 3 ignites for 5 turns, the more ignites, the stronger he is. So you can use that way compared to ESCANOR, where ESCANOR is just going to be there for damage. So compared to these first skill attacks, you can just see this unit right here, ESCANOR, just does damage. Another good thing is that ESCANOR is going to be one to get his ultimate faster. The reason why is because he's going to fill up his ultimate gauge orbs every time you do his 2-star or 3-star card. So if you're looking for more damage and you want to see like quicker ults, then you want to go for ESCANOR for that reason. If you want to look more for like leveling up your units and you need to do the Crimson Raid for that after they you know, put the level cap up, MELIODAS is going to be the one you want. So depending on what you're doing, I personally think between these two, especially because ESCANOR is going to have his own banner and Demon MELIODAS will have his own banner as well as being put in the coin shop, I would personally say go for ESCANOR first to summon for him because he's going to be very crucial to you. Now, the reason why I say that is because you can use him in PvP as well, and you can also use him in PvE content if you want to. But the thing is with MELIODAS, he's only going to be good for the raid, the Crimson Raid. So I don't think people are really going to use him for PvP. I don't think he's going to be very helpful, but he probably will do some pretty decent damage, but I don't think it's worth it for him. ESCANOR though, PvP base, he is going to be basically the, you know, #1 reason Gallon currently that just came out in the game. Gallon will be the one that's being taken out by ESCANOR most of the time because of you know, his attacks as well as his you know, his passive. His passive removes buffs and debuffs when the hero's ultimate move gauge orb is completely filled and grants debuff immunity. So Gallon can't debuff him. Gallon can't do anything once this whole ultimate is up. Compared to MELIODAS, you know, he's just there for attacking. He's not going to do more than that. So you can see his passive, it increases crit chance by 50% for each dead ally. Assuming if you're playing the Crimson Raid and you have Demon Meli with you, and when your you know, allies die, this is going to give him a bigger boost to do more damage. So that's basically just, you know, MELIODAS and how he does it. So his second skill though, his second skill is where he does like more damage. So you want to do his first card skill and then his second card skill because the ignites are what does more damage for him when the Crimson Raid, the Crimson Demon itself is basically debuffed. So when you look at this card, right, for a 2-star or 3-star card, for example, this is going to infect, right, which restricts recovery related stats. So infect, Crimson Raid won't be able to, the Crimson Demon won't be able to heal basically. So with this, you'll do some pretty decent damage, and then, you know, with the 3-star, even more damage. but the more debuffs on the Crimson, the more damage you will be doing. His ultimate is a weak point, right? So what weak point is that 3 times damage against debuffed enemies. So when you look at, this right here, it's a debuff, as well as this one is a debuff. The more debuffs you have on it, the more damage that this is going to be doing. Now, as a 1-star, or not 1-star, as a level 1 to level 6, these are the multipliers. Now, if you have it with Merlin, for the combo attack, it's even more damage. But, like I said, this is only going to be based off of, doing this actual damage on the Crimson. You could use this unit, like let's just say right here, right, the recommended usage. Meliodas is a coin shop unit that is mainly seen in Crimson Deathmatch, right, and it's on the sub slot for PvP. So you can use him for PvP, but I don't know how many people will really use him because he's only there for the Crimson, really. Like that's all he's gonna do, just because of how strong he is from his attacks, right? So he was designed to be the go-to unit for Crimson. Overall, Meliodas has a high single target DPS and sets himself up for his nuke on his ultimate move. So he is a decent PvP sub-slot unit, as he will be able to land crits more often when he comes up from the sub-slot due to his unique passive being activated when a unit dies. So you can try that. You can try that and see if it works for you. So leave him in the 4th slot. If one of your characters die or 2 of your characters die, he's going to have a higher chance to crit, which is going to do a lot more damage because these cards can be really strong for him. So it's good to look towards that, but I personally think that he's only going to be used more for just the actual Crimson. Compared to ESCANOR, ESCANOR is just crazy. He does insane damage, even from 1-star skills and 2-star skills. But even if you get into a 3-star skill, that's going to do more damage than, even his Demon Meliodas sometimes. Unless if it's Crimson, that's different, But for this, his 2nd skill is also a debuff as well, because he also ignites. So you can use him for the Crimson, but I wouldn't really use him for Crimson, really. I would rather just use Meliodas because he's meant for it. But he can do the ignite as well, and he does really good damage from this. And since it's a debuff, of course, with ignite, it's going to stack up the damage, so it's really good. The more you do, the more it will ignite stack up. So with this, as well with the 2-star and 3-star rank, he can also remove buffs. So if an enemy buffed themselves, like if you have, let's just say Arthur, or who else would be a good buffer? What's his name? Gil Thunder. You can remove those buffs from that, which is really good. So you can look at that as well. And he does some pretty decent damage from this. Like you can see, like in the showcase, I guess right now, just playing by itself, he's doing pretty decent damage with his 1-star and 2-star skills. So it's good to know that he will be the harder hitter. So the good thing is, when you do his 4-star skill, his ultimate move gauge orb will go much higher. With his ultimate, it is insane. He's probably going to be the hardest hitting unit, other than Jericho and Global currently, for a new banner to come out with him. So he does 840%, right, for his level 1. He can do 1260 with his level 6. If he has with Merlin, he can do up to 1440 with damage. So he's good for damage base. So if you are planning to do damage, grab him. If you don't plan on doing damage and you just focus on leveling up all your units, get Meliodas so you can do the Crimson raid really fast and easy, so it'd be easier for you. So depending on what you're going for, like I said, based on your account, based on how your playing style is, what you're planning to do with your account, that's going to matter. I personally am going to be going for both, of course, because I need to, just because 1 is content and 2, they're really good to have regardless. But I'm probably not going to use Meliodas for PvP based. I'm more going to use him for just the Crimson. Compared to ESCANOR, I'm going to use him more for PvP and other things as well. So now this passive, his passive is probably one of the best things. The only bad thing is whenever you use, let's just say Merlin, right? If you have the Green Merlin won't actually let you do this because he just takes it off himself. So Green Merlin, whenever you use her Perfect Cube, right? This Perfect Cube is a buff. So when you use this, ESCANOR removes buffs and debuffs. So if you're in PvP and you have Merlin on the team with ESCANOR and you use the Perfect Cube, the moment that ESCANOR gets his ultimate, his passive literally just takes it off. So that's just how it is. So it can be good and bad at the same time, but ESCANOR just does so much damage with his ultimate that you can one-shot anyone in PvP once he comes out. So for example, against Galland is going to be useless against him just because of what this unit does. So when you see, this unit, he debuffs, right? He debuffs, and then of course his passive is going to, the target cannot activate debuffs when using skills and only attack Galland, right? Well, regardless if you attack Galland, Escanor is just going to do a lot of damage towards him. So that's why it's good to have Escanor. So basically, all in all, these 2 units that will be coming out, personally, if you plan on leveling up your units and worry about getting your units to level 75 and level 80 later on, you want to get Demon Meliodas. If you want to play more PvP based and you want to actually play for other reasons like PvE and other boss battles and boss raids that come out, Escanor would be the one for you. So between these 2 units, I would say save your gems for Escanor, because 1, Meliodas will be put into the coin shop, which you should be fine with. I don't think there's a reason to summon for him if he's going to be a coin shop unit. So you just have to wait like 2 weeks at most for him to come into the coin shop. Compared to Escanor, he doesn't come back. He doesn't come back until later on, most likely, where I don't know when he will technically come back once he's out in global. But this unit would be the better unit to have. He's going to be more helpful, does more for you compared to Meliodas, because he's only going to be there for the Crimson Raid. So what I say is summon for Escanor compared to Meliodas. Who should you summon for? Escanor. Meliodas will come into the coin shop and you can just take him from there. Even if he's 7 coins, just get him from there, because you do need to start leveling up your units to level 75 and 80 once he comes out. So you can see, like, Escanor is crazy. In the whole video you guys saw him fighting, you probably saw some crazy damage. I didn't look at it because I was talking about the units themselves, but this unit is just really, really insane, especially when he has Gother that can rank up his cards easily. Escanor is the better unit to have just because of that reason. So coming to these 2 units, who should you summon for? Escanor. Easily Escanor. So that's gonna do it for today's video. If you guys have any kind of questions, let me know in the comments below. If you guys need any kind of help with the Grand Cross or anything like that, just join my Discord. I'll help you guys out there. There's a lot of people in the Discord that can help you out as well. People in my guild, and so on. So that's pretty much for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, drop a like. If you guys are new to the channel, guys, subscribe. We hit 15,000 subscribers by the time this video is probably up, so thank you guys so much. 15,000, now we just need to hit 20,000 hopefully soon. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Have a great day.